interest reason to cut it off like that. I just don't get it. So thank you.
Thank you.
That was all the speakers.
Okay. I'll comment first, if everybody's okay with that. Mr. Burke, thank you for the credit with regard to Bailey Farm Road, but it wasn't me. It was our highway super, Mayor Welly, and the town, the village board of Harriman, along with their highway super, that initiated everything. As far as the veterans, once again, it was not me. It was County Executive Newhouse who came to me, asked for approval of it, and I put it out to our town board. So it was our town board who said, yeah, it's a great thing, let's do it. And we essentially took a poll over the phone individually so that we can get it done, because the movie was coming out. We hadn't procured it yet, and we needed to procure it. So it was the town board. It was not anything I did. Lorraine Lonick, I totally agree with your thoughts there with the meetings. I was scheduled to start department head meetings this Wednesday, individually, not individually, as a group in town hall. Unfortunately, I kind of have been wavering on it only because Mary Ellen Beams had a death in her family. So I didn't want to go forward until I spoke to her, and she was at a conference today, so I didn't want to bring that up. And as far as your other point, what was the other point you made? Because I wrote a note here and I'm forgetting what I wrote a note on.
Let's celebrate achievement in academics.
Yes, okay, exactly. And that's our intention. It's just that this happened recently, and I mean, we also would like to include those have been, whether it's a business or individual who has been beneficial to our community. If you have suggestions, please email them to me. Email them to Mary Ellen, be happy to entertain them. I think it's a great idea. Mr. Brower, I understand what you're saying, but I will disagree with you with regard to the police being here. It wasn't because of the timer. It was because of a disruptive nature during the meeting. It had nothing to do with the timer. And Mike Egan, we have to develop a architectural plan before we can get a cost estimate. That's the next step. So without an architectural plan, we don't know what it's going to cost us. So that's what we're in the process of doing. That's the way our engineers and I think our board felt going forward, and that's where we're going. Because, you know, there's, the court actually met with our engineer prior to it, and we looked at what it would cost to renovate the DeAngelis Hall, and it was almost $300,000, and it would not have been anything near what we can have here. So that's where we're going with that. That's where I feel we're going with that. We haven't made a decision yet whether to purchase it or not. That's why we extended the lease. But we're trying to fast track the cost estimates and the utilization, which is what this plan is doing. So hopefully that clarifies, you know, your concern there. That's all I have.
All right. Let me go backwards a little bit. As far as the getting the movie here and recognizing our veterans, I'd like to say thank you to all of our veterans who have served this country, because in this, not only in this community but in this county, we have some of the highest amount of veterans that serve not only within the state but within the country on a per capita basis. So thank you, veterans.
Let me just add to that real quick. This was it was received so well that the first showing is sold out, because you have to make reservations, so a second showing at 7:15 was added this afternoon. So.
And our veterans and our service personnel continue to serve overseas at great cost to themselves and their families. So, to me, it's no small sacrifice. Sign-ups for the meeting. It was brought up by one of the speakers that we should allow people to sign up all the way throughout the meeting, and sometimes that can be a bit disruptive. Not greatly disruptive, but a bit. But many people, Mary Ellen, are we able to have people email or call in and put their names on the list prior to the meeting? Days before?
We could do that if you'd like.
So what I'm saying is this, is that we should be able to move that where you can do that even days before, A, and B, I think if there is a pressing issue to bring up at the microphone, that that should be asked by the board first, and then we can make a decision about the discussion. The reason the time limit was put on speakers was because some people don't know how to get to the point.
Need some board members.
More so board members than yes, and yes. So
Former.
that does become an issue when people are up here and speaking for 20 minutes to 40 minutes to an hour. And we used to have that because there was no limitation. And it would go on, and one question would lead to another question, to another question, to another question. I think that if people really want real answers to their questions, they should submit those questions in advance so we can look it up. Or even if we don't have an answer for you, we're still looking into it, this question was asked, and we should address it that way. And I think that would address many of the issues, or I hope most of your concerns. As far as purchasing at time, as you know, our old town hall maybe was suitable in the 1930s, but government has expanded, like it or not. There's so many more things the government has to do and track. And there's so many more services, and not only that, there's so many more people in this town. There's a lot more people in this town. In fact, by capita, by population, we are the largest township in this county. And not necessarily on the largest amount of property. So there's a lot of things that have to be done. At time, at, what is it, 2.2?
0.7.
Is still a bargain compared to some townships that spent over $6 million for their building. And then some. So I think we're on the right track. I think your questions are notable, and they have to be addressed, and we're gonna do our best to present to people what costs are gonna be, what we're looking for. I'm sure we can put this map online so people can look it up. And of course, we are open to suggestions. It's not that all of the answers cannot be on this side of the dais. We depend on our populace to help us with solutions as well. So, of course, anytime you have a solution, a positive solution, an answer to a question, an answer to a problem, we're always willing to listen, at least I am. So I think that's very important as well. It's not a one-way street. We do not, it doesn't come from here to you. It's also comes from you to us, and we're here to listen as well. And that's all I have at this point. Gentlemen?
Mary?
Okay.
And board members, I should say, pardon me.
Thank you for all the residents who came up and welcomed me to the town board. I will definitely appreciate all your comments and suggestions in the future, and I will work with you to get things done and accomplished. Regarding the water districts, Mr. Burke, it is a theoretical possibility to connect water districts, but the infrastructure costs are great. None of these water districts are right near each other, so if you start laying pipe and then you need bigger pumps and you need larger holding tanks, all those costs have to be included So it would have to be a real cost-benefit analysis to see if that could work. That's one of the reasons I was leery with the Bald Hill Water District. That water district could also include the business park, but we don't have any figures, we don't have any numbers. So I'm not gonna jump to make a water district or to expand or consolidate water districts without some hard facts. I want to thank again the highway superintendent. I have to get up rather early, I have one of those jobs that
Must be.
365 days a year, and I hear his trucks coming up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm ready to go to work. So I agree with the residents, they do a great job. Regarding public comments, 3 minutes also helps us budget our time, because we will be going into an executive session. So if we know there are 10 people, that's 30 minutes, you know, we're gonna be planning our timeline for executive session and attorney-client as well.
We're working on it.
That's right, we're working on it. And I have one more thing. And can't think of it right now, but thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman McGinn.
Yeah, just one quick thing, or a couple quick things. Mr. Conley, Ryan, thank you so much for the card, very nice, and the other well wishes. I think Mr. Burke had some well wishes there, Mr. Regan, so thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Regarding the big plan or the overview of what we'd like to do with the new town or the proposed new town hall. You know, obviously, like you said, once we have these cost estimates, we can start moving forward, but I think the intention of this board here is always to get everything under one roof. It's the most cost-effective thing we can do. Again, the price is, you know, if you looked at Woodbury when they were looking to do their town hall, it was $9 million or something like that. It was crazy. I got shot down by the voters. We're nowhere near that, thankfully, and I think it makes good sense, and hopefully we can get those other buildings out of town hands, and that would be a good thing. 3-minute rule. Again, listen, that was put in place to run these meetings more efficiently, and if a issue came up that required further public comment, that would be something that I think we would certainly entertain after that 15-minute mark. We just can't have people constantly signing up and getting up. We do have a schedule to kind of keep here, so listen, things have changed over, obviously, and we're looking to make this more efficient. Not just, the whole town government, but, how these meetings are ran. I think we're getting there, and, no one wants to sit here till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning anymore. That was, inhumane and ridiculous. And, so, that's, we wanna get away from that, and that's certainly the direction we're going. But the public will always have, an opportunity to speak. It's not gonna be something that goes away, so that's all I have.
Okay.
Could I just grab the mic real quick?
Go ahead.
Sure, go ahead, John.
First of all, thank everybody, thank you guys for thanking my guys and myself. I'm nothing without my men, as everybody knows that, anybody that's ever been a boss. With that being said, every snowstorm we have a plan, and we go with the plan the best we can. You can't predict what Mother Nature's gonna do. But 90% of the time with a snowstorm, I'm gonna be out there trying to do every 3 to 4 inches we're gonna try to plow. And that doesn't mean we salt every time. So Lorraine hit it right on the head when she judged the snowstorm by the end of the snowstorm. So don't judge it during the beginning of a snowstorm. Judge it by the end results of the snowstorm, how the roads look and how everything came out. With that particular snowstorm, even though it was only 6 inches, we had 5 breakdowns of trucks. Okay, 1 truck had to be towed in. And then I had, a 9-man crew, trying to get back and get these trucks back on the road because we don't have an abundance of trucks. So with that being said, these trucks gotta keep running. So you got guys crawling under these trucks with slush and nastiness dripping all over top of them just to fix hoses and stuff like that. So they do appreciate the praise and the thanks from the public. So, and as do I. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, John. Our county legislator, Pete Toohey's here. He'd like to say a few words.
Good evening. Peter Toohey, Monroe, District 7 legislator, new legislator. I want to give you a little update over the last few weeks. It's a short update. I haven't been on the job but several weeks, but I want to thank Supervisor Cardone and the entire board for letting me address you this evening and give you a little bit of an update. Over the last 2 weeks, I got sworn in a snowstorm with Mary Ellen. Thanks to Mary Ellen and Tony and Superintendent Sherney. There was a couple people around during the storm. The following week, I got my committee assignments, and I look forward to working with the board. I'm going to be on I am on physical services, human services, and also health and mental health. So I've been to committee, statutory committee meetings already. I'm also going to, I've got some things in the fire there to get appointed to some other subcommittees also. Again, Monroe is my district. When you're on the committees, you kind of go all around the county. So it's anything I can do to work with you guys. I look forward to working with you. I want to wish you all the best, and I want to thank you for bringing civility back to these meetings. You know? And like I said, it's only been 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, so there's not much more. So we'll be in touch, and you know, I'm still getting my communication set up. I don't have my phone on my tablet yet, but it's all coming. And next time, hopefully, I'll have business cards too for anybody that wants them. Just if anybody needs to get me for anything, you know. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best. And thanks, John, for the roads. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pete.
Just get us money from the county, that's all we care about. Thank you.
I'm on it already.
Yeah.
I know you are.
We need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make the motion to go into executive session at this time.
Second?
Well, we have to say what it's for.
For?
Well, we have
Pending litigation.
pending litigation.
We also have the discussion of salary of a particular employee.
We have a pending contract